You've been lied to about what it takes to win. We live in a world obsessed with the shimmer of success, the luxury, the freedom, and the highlight reels, but nobody talks about the success tax. Success is not a gift, it is a transaction. The universe is a fair merchant. It will give you absolutely anything you want, but it will never give it to you for free. Most people are mental shoplifters. They want the prize without the price. They want the harvest without the winter. But if you want to join the top 5%, you must understand that greatness is a purchase. You buy it with the currency of persistence, the discipline of the iron will, and a total, absolute refusal to quit when the spark of your initial idea fades into the cold, gray reality of the work. The question isn't whether success is possible. The question is your currency any good? Success is a progressive realization, but that progression is rarely a straight line. It is a series of peaks and valleys. When you first start your 30-day test, you are fueled by the novelty of the idea. You feel the gold mine beneath your feet. But somewhere around day 14, the novelty wears off. This is the valley of disappointment. This is the point where your old habits, those rusted chains of the 95%, start to pull back. They whisper that it isn't working, or that you can take a day off. This is not a sign of failure. It is the arrival of the success tax collector. The universe is checking your credentials. It is asking, do you truly want this, or were you just curious? Most people believe that persistence is a struggle against the outside world. They think they are fighting the economy, or the competition, or bad luck. But the iron truth is that persistence is an internal struggle. It is a battle against the mental gravity of your own past. When you decide to move from the 95% to the 5%, you are essentially trying to launch a rocket. The first few miles of that launch require more fuel than the rest of the journey combined. Why? Because you are breaking the gravitational pull of your old self. Persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. Without it, you are brittle. You may look strong, but the first time life puts pressure on you, you will snap. But with persistence, with that carbon of the iron will, you become flexible, yet unbreakable. You can weather the storms, you can endure the setbacks, and you can outlast the critics. The world is full of brilliant failures and educated derelicts who had everything but the one thing that mattered, the ability to pay the price of endurance. Think of the testing period as a filter. If success were easy, it would be worthless. It is the difficulty that gives the prize its value. Imagine a giant sieve that is constantly shaking. At the beginning, everyone is in the sieve. But as the shaking continues, those who lack the success tax of persistence fall through the holes. They go back to the comfort of the crowd. They go back to the 54% who end up broke and the 5% who are still working at 65. But those who remain, those who hold on despite the shaking, eventually find themselves alone in the sieve. They have passed the test. They have paid the price. What is the specific currency of this price? First, it is emotional maturity. You must be willing to be misunderstood for a long period of time. You must be willing to have people laugh at you, or worse, pity you. When you are going the extra mile and others are acting their wage, you will be the outlier. You must decide that the opinion of the man in the mirror is more important than the opinion of the crowd at the water cooler. If you need the approval of the 95%, you will inevitably remain one of them. The price of greatness is a degree of isolation. You must be comfortable standing alone on the empty mile. Second, the price is physical and mental discipline. You must be willing to do the work when you don't feel like doing the work. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are as reliable as the weather. Discipline is a system. The iron will does not ask, how do I feel today? It asks, what is the next step on the roadmap? You must treat your goal like a professional athlete treats their training. It isn't an option. It is a requirement of the position you intend to occupy. You are prepaying for your future luxury with your current discipline. Third, the price is the refinement of focus. In the gold mine phase, we talked about the power of the mind, but to maintain that power during the testing period, you must be willing to say no to 1,000 good things so you can say yes to the one great thing. Most people fail because they are good at too many things. They scatter their mental budget. The price of greatness is a narrow, intense focus that borders on obsession. You must be willing to let certain parts of your life go dark so that your goal can be bathed in light. There is a law in nature called the law of gestation. Every seed has a specific period of time it must spend in the dark before it can break through the soil. A human baby takes 9 months. An oak tree takes years. Success is also a living organism. It has a gestation period. The tragedy of the average man is that he quits at month 8. He quits when the oak tree is just an inch below the surface. He walks away from the gold mine when there was only 1 inch of rock left to drill. If you understand the law of gestation, you don't get frustrated by the dark period. You realize that the darkness is where the growth is happening. You realize that the price is simply time. During your 30-day test, you must develop what we call the shield of persistence. This shield is built from the realization that failure is an impossibility if you do not stop. You can be delayed, you can be detoured, and you can be knocked down, but you cannot be defeated unless you accept defeat in your own mind. The only true failure is the decision to stop paying the price. As long as you are still in the game, as long as you are still moving toward your worthy ideal, you are a success in progress. Look at the giants of history. Look at Thomas Edison, who failed 10,000 times before the light bulb worked. Was he failing for those 10,000 attempts? No. He was paying the price. He was buying the knowledge of 10,000 ways that didn't work. He understood that the success tax for an invention that would change the world was extraordinarily high, and he was willing to pay it in full. Look at Abraham Lincoln, who faced a lifetime of political defeats and personal tragedies before he saved the Union. He had an iron will that was forged in the fire of persistence. He paid the price of greatness in the currency of sorrow and resilience. You must also understand that the success tax is non-refundable. You cannot pay it halfway and then decide you want your time back. This is why you must be all in. You must burn the boats. You must decide that there is no plan B, because plan B only exists to distract you from plan C, which is to make plan A work no matter what. When you have no safety net, your mind discovers mental reserves that you never knew existed. The gold mine opens its deepest veins only to those who have nowhere else to go. The rewards of paying this price are not just the receipts in your bank account. The greatest reward is the internal transformation. When you have paid the price, when you have endured the valley of disappointment and crossed the empty mile, you become a person that the world cannot break. You have proven to yourself that you are the master of your fate. You have a quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout. You don't need to brag about your success because your character radiates it. You have become iron. As you continue your 30-day test, I want you to embrace the difficulty. When a problem arises, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "Is this the price of my goal?" If the answer is yes, then pay it with a smile. Pay it with the knowledge that every bit of resistance you face is actually a proof of progress. If there is no resistance, you aren't moving. If it isn't hard, you aren't growing. The price is the evidence that you are on the right path. The top 5% are not luckier than the rest. They are simply the ones who stayed in the sieve when everyone else fell through. They are the ones who kept putting wood in the fireplace when the room was still cold. They are the ones who kept looking at the goal card when the bank account was at zero. They paid the price in full, in advance, and without complaint. The world is waiting to see if you are a 1-miler or a 2-miler. It is waiting to see if you are a seed planter or a seed digger. It is waiting to see if you have the iron wisdom to understand that greatness is a purchase, not a gift. Write your goal, guard your mind, go the extra mile, and when the collector comes to demand the success tax, when the work gets boring, when the critics get loud, and when the results seem invisible, reach into your pocket, touch your gold card, and pay the price with pride. The gold mine is yours, but only if you are willing to buy it. This is the final law. This is the completion of the cycle. You have the secret, you have the service, you have the engine, and now you have the resilience. The iron wisdom is yours. Now, go out and claim what you have already paid for. This is EARL Nightingale, reminding you that the only limit to your realization of tomorrow will be your doubts of today. Pay the price, keep the faith, and I will see you at the summit. The price of greatness is not a one-time payment. It is a subscription that must be renewed every single morning. It is the persistent refusal to let the average version of yourself win the daily tug-of-war for your attention. To truly understand this price, we must look at the law of sacrifice. To have something you have never had, you must be willing to do something you have never done, and more importantly, you must be willing to give up something you currently are. You cannot keep your old, comfortable habits and your new, extraordinary life at the same time. They cannot occupy the same space in your mind. One of the most hidden components of the success tax is the price of boredom. We are a society addicted to the new. We want the new strategy, the new app, the new shortcut. But the iron truth of achievement is that greatness is often found in the mastery of the boring. It is the ability to do the same fundamental tasks, the prospecting, the practicing, the studying, long after the excitement has worn off. The top 1% are not necessarily the most creative, they are the most consistent. They have learned to fall in love with the process rather than just the prize. They realize that the boring work is the bedrock upon which the exciting success is built. We must also talk about the price of certainty. Most people are paralyzed by the fear of the unknown. They want a guarantee before they start. They want to know exactly how the goal will be reached. But the universe does not provide a map. It only provides a compass. The price you pay is the courage to step into the dark, trusting that the bridge will appear under your feet as you walk. If you wait for all the lights to be green before you leave the house, you will never get out of the driveway. Persistence is the act of moving forward when the how is still a mystery. It is the willingness to be productively lost while you search for the extra mile. Consider the law of internal resistance. Every time you decide to elevate your life, a part of your subconscious, the part designed for survival and comfort, will stage a rebellion. It will create physical fatigue. It will generate logical excuses, and it will distract you with shiny objects. This is the success tax being levied by your own biology. To pay this price, you must develop a stoic detachment from your own moods. You must reach a point where your commitment is stronger than your feelings. When the iron will becomes the commanding officer and your emotions become the soldiers, you have unlocked the secret of the elite. You no longer ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" You simply observe the resistance and move through it. There is also the price of social friction. When you stop drifting with the 95%, the 95% will notice. They will try to pull you back, not because they are evil, but because your growth highlights their stagnation. They will tell you to relax or that you are working too hard. This is a profound test of your mental budget. Are you willing to spend your mental energy defending your vision, or will you spend it trying to fit back in? The price of the summit is the willingness to outgrow your current surroundings. You must be prepared to leave the valley, even if it means leaving behind the people who refuse to climb. Another element of the success tax is intellectual humility. The price of knowing more is the admission that you currently know very little. To grow your gold mine, you must be willing to be the dumbest person in the room for a while. You must be willing to ask the obvious questions and endure the growing pains of a new skill. Many people quit because their ego cannot handle the phase of being a beginner. They would rather be right and comfortable in their current state than wrong and growing toward their goal. The top 5% have no such ego. They are perpetual students. They realize that the price of mastery is the temporary loss of dignity that comes with learning. Let's examine the law of direct proportion. Your life will never be bigger than the amount of responsibility you are willing to take for it. The success tax is paid in the currency of total ownership. You must stop blaming the weather, the government, the boss, or your upbringing. As long as you blame an external factor, you are giving that factor power over your gold mine. When you pay the price of 100% responsibility, you reclaim 100% of your power. It is a heavy price to pay, as it removes the comfort of the excuse, but it is the only price that buys true freedom. We must also address the price of restraint. In the 30-day test, the greatest difficulty isn't what you do, but what you refuse to do. It is the discipline to not check the results every 5 minutes. It is the restraint to not tell everyone your plans before they are realized. There is a leaking of energy that happens when we talk too much about what we are going to do. The iron will is a silent worker. It keeps the pressure inside the boiler so that it can be converted into steam and motion. The price is the silence. Let your results do the talking. Let your extra mile speak for itself. Success also demands the price of mental focus. In a world of infinite distraction, the ability to focus on one thing for an hour is a superpower. Most people are multitasking themselves into mediocrity. They are spending their mental budget in pennies and nickels on 1,000 different tabs. The price of the gold mine is the deep dive. It is the ability to shut out the world and live entirely within your goal until a breakthrough occurs. This kind of focus is painful for the modern brain, which has been trained for the quick hit of dopamine. But the dopamine of achievement is far sweeter than the dopamine of distraction. You must be willing to endure the withdrawal symptoms of focus to reach the state of flow. Think of the law of the price tag. Everything in life has a price tag attached to it. If you want a fit body, the price tag is the gym and the diet. If you want a happy marriage, the price tag is the listening and the sacrifice. If you want a fortune, the price tag is the service and the risk. The tragedy of the drifter is that they spend their whole life looking at the price tag and complaining that it's too high while never actually buying the item. The achiever looks at the price tag, decides the item is worth it, pays the price, and moves on. They don't haggle with the universe. They know that the universe is a high-end boutique, not a flea market. As you move through the testing period, remember the law of momentum. The first 10 days of your new habit are the grind. The next 10 days are the groove. The final 10 days are the glide. The success tax is highest in the grind. It is where most people quit because they think the whole journey will feel this way. But once you hit the groove, the resistance lessens. And once you hit the glide, the habit itself begins to carry you. Persistence is simply the act of staying in the game long enough to reach the glide. Most people quit when they are just inches away from the momentum shift. You must also understand the price of persistence in the face of success. This sounds strange, but many people fail after their first win. They pay the success tax for a while, get a small reward, and then decide they no longer need to pay the price. They stop going the extra mile. They stop guarding the gold mine, and slowly, inevitably, the law of compensation begins to work in reverse. Their rewards begin to shrink to match their new, lower level of service. Success is a lease that you must pay rent on every day. You never truly own it. You only earn the right to use it for 24 hours at a time. The iron wisdom is the realization that the world is a mirror. If you want the world to give you its best, you must give the world your best. If you want the world to be loyal to you, you must be loyal to your vision. If you want the world to reward you, you must be the kind of person who is worthy of reward. The price is simply the act of becoming before having. It is the internal work that produces the external result. During your 30-day test, look for the sweet spot of resilience. This is the moment when you realize that the obstacle is the way. When a problem arises, don't try to go around it, go through it. The problem is there to teach you a skill you will need once you reach the top. If you bypass the problem, you bypass the growth. The price of the lesson is the struggle. Pay it gladly, for the lessons are the only things you truly get to keep. When you reach the end of your life, you will not regret the times you worked too hard or the times you stayed too late. You will not regret the success tax you paid. You will only regret the goals you abandoned because the price seemed too high. You will realize then that the price of greatness was actually a bargain. It was a small amount of discipline exchanged for a lifetime of meaning. It was a small amount of effort exchanged for a legacy that outlasts your physical body. The gold mine is open. The extra mile is waiting. The strangest secret is in your hand. The only question left is, will you pay the price? Will you be the one who stays in the sieve? Will you be the one who finishes the 30 days and starts the next 30? Will you decide here and now that you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul? The universe is watching, the crowd is watching, but most importantly, the man in the mirror is watching. Do not let him down. Prove to him that you have the iron will. Prove to him that you understand the law of compensation. Prove to him that you are worth the riches of the gold mine. This is the end of the script, but it is the beginning of your life. The laws are iron. The results are certain. The price is yours to pay. Go out there and win, not because it is easy, but because you are the kind of person who does the hard things until they become easy. This is iron wisdom. This is the way of the Titan. This is your path. To truly dominate the landscape of your own life, you must confront the price of emotional resilience. Most people are not defeated by a lack of intelligence or even a lack of opportunity. They are defeated by their own internal weather. They are fair weather sailors in the ocean of life. When the sun is shining and the wind is at their back, they are full of grand plans and noble intentions. But the moment the first storm cloud of criticism appears, or the first wave of financial uncertainty hits the hull, they abandon ship. They flee back to the safety of the shore, not realizing that the shore is where dreams go to die. The price of the summit is the willingness to sail through the storm without losing your sense of direction. This is what we call mental stability. It is the ability to maintain the same level of intensity and focus regardless of how you feel or what the headlines say. If you allow your productivity to be dictated by your mood, you are a slave to your biology. But if you dictate your mood through your productivity, you are a master of your destiny. This is a high price because it requires a level of self-mastery that feels inhuman to the average person. But you aren't trying to be average. You are trying to be iron. We must also examine the price of selective ignorance. In our modern, hyper-connected world, there is a massive tax on your attention. We are surrounded by a billion voices screaming for a slice of our mental budget. To succeed, you must be willing to be out of the loop. You must be willing to not know what is trending on social media, what the latest political scandal is, or what the celebrity of the moment is doing. This FOMO, the fear of missing out, is a leash that the 95% uses to keep everyone at the same level of mediocrity. The price of greatness is the courage to miss out on the trivial so you can insource the essential. You must protect your gold mine from the sewage of the 24-hour news cycle. You must realize that every time you engage with a meaningless controversy, you are paying for it with the currency of your life. You are trading your potential for a moment of indignation or entertainment. The iron will is a selective will. It knows that a mind full of trivia is a mind empty of power. Consider the law of the internal audit. Every week you must be willing to look into the mirror and perform a brutal, honest assessment of your progress. You must ask, did I go the extra mile this week, or did I just do enough to get by? Did I guard my gold mine, or did I let the weeds in? Did I pay the success tax, or did I try to haggle? Most people cannot pay this price because their ego is too fragile. They would rather believe a comfortable lie than a painful truth. But the iron wisdom dictates that the truth is the only thing that can set you free. The price of growth is the temporary destruction of your ego. You must be willing to admit when you were wrong, when you were lazy, and when you were scared. Only by identifying the leaks in your character can you plug them. This internal audit is the refining fire of success. It burns away the dross and leaves only the pure metal of your potential. It is uncomfortable, it is humbling, and it is absolutely necessary. Another hidden cost is the price of delayed gratification. We are a microwave generation. We want the result now. We want the wealth now. We want the recognition now. But the universe is a slow cooker. The price you pay for a magnificent life is the ability to wait. It is the ability to work for months or years in total obscurity with no one cheering you on, trusting that the seeds you are planting are growing. The 30-day test is designed to build this muscle. It teaches you to focus on the process of planting rather than the anxiety of the harvest. If you are constantly looking at the ground to see if the seeds have sprouted, you are likely to disturb the roots. The price is the quiet, confident patience of the farmer who knows the law of the seasons. He doesn't scream at the dirt, he just keeps watering the field. We must also talk about the price of physical integrity. Your mind is the programmer, but your body is the hardware. You cannot run a billion-dollar program on a broken-down computer. The price of mental peak performance is the discipline of your physical vessel. This means the price of the extra mile often starts at 5 a.m. It involves the food you eat, the sleep you prioritize, and the movement you give your body. If you are sluggish, tired, and toxic, your gold mine will be filled with brain fog instead of gold dust. The iron will extends to the dinner plate in the gym. You must treat your body like the temple of your mind. This discipline is a form of self-respect, and as we've discussed, self-respect is the foundation of all mental power. You pay the price in sweat and restraint so you can enjoy the reward of clarity and energy. Furthermore, there is the price of absolute certainty in the face of ambiguity. As you move toward your goal, there will be times when the path vanishes completely. You will reach a mental dead end. This is the point where the 95% turns back. They say, "I've gone as far as I can see, and I don't see a way forward." But the iron leader knows that as far as you can see is exactly where you are supposed to be. The price of the next level is the faith to take one more step into the void. You must develop the habit of commanding the outcome. Instead of asking, "What if it doesn't work?" you must state, "It will work. I just haven't found the method yet." This absolute certainty, this iron assumption, is what forces the universe to provide a new path. You pay for the solution with your unwavering belief that a solution exists. Let's discuss the price of responsibility for others. As you become successful, as you move into the top 5%, you will inevitably become a leader. Whether you are leading a family, a team, or an entire industry, the price of your success is the responsibility for those who follow you. You can no longer afford the luxury of a bad day. You can no longer afford to be moody or unpredictable. The price of influence is the requirement to be a constant. You must be the rock upon which others can build. This is a heavy tax. It means that your personal feelings must often take a back seat to the needs of the mission and the people you serve. But this is also where the greatest meaning is found. The extra mile is best traveled when you are carrying others with you. Your gold mine becomes a source of wealth for many, not just for yourself. Finally, there is the price of the eternal start. The 30-day test never truly ends. The moment you think you have arrived, you are in danger. The price of staying at the top is the willingness to remain a beginner at heart. You must be willing to throw away your old maps and draw new ones as the world changes. You must be willing to dismantle your own success to build something even greater. This is the law of creative destruction. To move to a new level of iron wisdom, you must be willing to let go of the gold you found yesterday to search for the diamonds of tomorrow. This is a price that few are willing to pay. Most people get comfortable, they get settled, but the iron will is never settled. It is always in a state of restless contentment, content with the progress made, but restless for the growth that remains. The gold mine is deeper than you think. The extra mile is longer than you imagine. The strangest secret is more powerful than you know. And the price? The price is everything you currently are, in exchange for everything you could possibly become. Is it worth it? Ask the man who has reached the summit. Ask the person who has looked into the mirror and seen a master of destiny looking back. They will tell you that the success tax was the best investment they ever made. They will tell you that the struggle was the most beautiful part of the journey. This is the completion of your training. You have the blueprint, you have the tools, you have the laws. Now the only thing left to do is to go out and pay the price. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, the 30-day clock is ticking. The world is waiting. Your gold mine is ready. Go the extra mile, pay the tax with a smile, and claim the iron crown that belongs to those who have the courage to think, the heart to serve, and the will to endure. This is iron wisdom. This is your life. Make it legendary.